Hello guys, welcome back again. This is the second week practice for this 5-week drawing schedules together. And previously we talked through the 5-week overview on what to do, what we're going to learn about, as well as the specific things to do for the first week, including the single line form capturing, as well as the color captures, so selecting colors from the color palette, and the 16 boxes that we need to draw. Personally, I found the first week to be quite tedious, to be honest. The single line is quite boring to do. All kinds of this, like drawing that random lines. It doesn't give me that much of a achievement, to be honest. But then, after a while, I can feel that the habit is starting to build. I wake up in the morning, I start drawing. That's probably the biggest benefit for the first week, is to start the first step into this long drawing journey and being able to draw it consistently, do it every day, even though it's quite boring. So hopefully that's quite similar to you. If you have any thoughts about week 1, feel free to comment below. I'll do more 16 boxes drawing after I finish filming this video, as well as editing all these videos together. So today we're going to talk through the practice for week 2, and which includes the form capturing of different objects, colors for capturing a somewhat like an abstract illustrations, and for perspectives, we'll go through the how to construct a 45 degrees angle plane, as well as using perspective tools in Krita. That'll slowly build up the ability for us to draw different structures in Krita and in a 2D canvas. Okay. Hello guys, sorry to interrupt in the middle of the video. But the main reason why I'm here is because just now I was editing the videos, but I noticed that I forgot to say where I got some of the practice from. What I mean by that is that in the file, when you download it, form capturing week 1 and week 2, so that will be this kind of practice, as well as these practices. These are not originally by me. They are made by Victor Cloux, who is a Chinese professional artist. He made 8 weeks of practice schedules for free, and these references are the week 1 as well as the week 2 practices released by him. Same for color week 1 and week 2. So the color accuracy ones, as well as these abstract color illustrations, are released by him for free. The place where I found these practice is here. So this is the Bilibili, where Victor Cloux went through all of his practices in the structure of week 1, week 2, week 3/week 4, week 5/week 6, and week 7/week 8. So overall, he provided 8 weeks of practice schedules. And as well as I found it over here, this is the person who went through Victor Cloux' practice, and he made some reflections on it. Under here, there's the Google Drive, where you can find the original Victor Cloux practice schedule for free. If you understand Chinese or is a native Chinese speaker, then I highly recommend you to watch his videos, link in the description below, because he will talk through some of his mindset and thinking process when he makes a original artwork. But that's all I want to talk about in terms of the practice and where I got some of the reference from. But back to the video. First of all, we'll start with form capturing, and this week we'll start to draw objects instead of the random single lines. So congratulations, you have graduated from the single line hell, and moving on to the more difficult part of the form capturing, which is object captures. Over here, I wrote down things that we should be aware of for this week. So 80% of the accuracy, if we look at the files, form capturing, and then we can see that there's 5 days prescription for this week. Try to finish them all. In terms of my trials, have a look. You can see that it doesn't look 100% correct, but then as long as it's roughly there at 80% there, I think it's good enough. You don't need to do 100% accurate practice for this one, or else it would be too time consuming. So like this, and you can see that it's roughly okay, good enough. So the second concept that I want to talk about is CSI. And what CSI means is that instead of using these kind of long curves, it's recommended to use C line, so a minor curve, a minor S, and a straight line. So if we do the practice over here, instead of using this kind of curvy lines over here, which is difficult for you to capture as well as observe, try to cut the objects into this kind of straighter lines. Then it will be easier for you to observe first of all the slope angles of this line as well as the length of it, and making yourself easier to copy it over here like that. Then you'll be able to notice the parts where you need to improve compared to just drawing this, then and hard for you to observe how much this is, how much this part is, how much this part is, or like if I do that, is this correct or not? I don't know. So try to summarize and organize all the curvy lines into straight lines. And going on to the second week for colors. The colors wise is more interesting this week. What we'll do is we're gonna try to capture this illustration on the left. And what we're gonna do is open the files. So take the file, put it onto Creaser, like put it here, right? You add on to a new layer on the top, and then over here there's a magic wand, contiguous selection tool. Select a box over here, then you can start drawing it without like messing up the other boxes. In terms of the brushes, personally I prefer to use dry roller, but you can use any kind of brush. And this is a place where you could start to practice with different kind of brush tools and get used to different characteristic of the textures. So in terms of the steps of how to capture this, is that first of all, you try to cover the whole illustrations first, so that you can have quite a good reference on the colors that you need to capture. In other words, for this color, I'll just randomly find this. It's a bit too blue, so you start to adjust it accordingly. Reduce saturation a little bit. None? Probably a bit brighter. There you go. And if you look at the color from far away, it looks roughly similar. That's good enough. And then going on to the green. Like that. Yeah. And that. Yeah, that's good enough. Probably a bit greener. So that's what you're gonna do. And personally, I really like this practice because it's quite fun. It gives a lot of achievements when you are able to find the colors accurately. And then find the blackish, I think. Yeah. A bit darker. Like that. And then like that. So this is the thing that you need to do for this week. You try to make sure that it's as accurate as possible. I think I did a bit of practice over here, and this is roughly like this. If we look at my own trials previously, colors. So there are 5 days practice for this week. Try to finish them all. because this practice is very helpful for finding the actual colors when you have the other colors at the side. So it's sort of use one of the colors as reference to find the other colors. This is the skill that this practice is trying to achieve. So what I mean by that is that, for example, if you look at this color itself, this one, you will probably say it's green, right? Obviously it's green. But then if you look at the color palette, it's actually green blue instead of just pure green, because we have a bluish color over here. So if the next color is closer to green, then it makes you feel like this color is greener than usual. Does that make sense? So each color sort of influence each other when they are sitting next to each other. So for example, here we go, random colors over here. And then if I want like a bluish color, I could bring the color palette to purple, add a bit of gray. Then you will notice that this color looks like blue, but actually it's still a orangey red, sorry, it's still a red purple-ish color. So that's what I mean by colors influence your perceptions of what color it is. And that's why this practice is very helpful for that. So my own trial over here is like this. You can see that it looks roughly similar enough, and that's good enough already. You don't have to be 100% accurate on this kind of practice. So going on to perspectives, what we'll do this week is quite different from last week. So last week we did a lot of 16 boxes and try to draw them out. This week we're gonna focus on 45 degrees angle and roughly around 25 degrees downward kind of plane, where we are gonna start to draw this kind of structures on it. And before showing you how to draw it and how we're gonna proceed on this practice, there are two important techniques that we should learn about when it comes to this kind of structure formulations. Let's have a look. So first of all, we need to learn how to split a box or square into half and 1/3. And I'll explain to you why it is important when we're starting to formulate the structure, the backpack structure later on. But bear with me, it's very important, and I'll explain the importance later. But in terms of how to do it, is I use a square tool over here, rectangle tool. Go on to tool options. Over here, going down, you can see the size and the width. I usually put like 500. Now it is a square now. And in terms of how to find this line over here, which shows this part being half of this, is that we're gonna need either a line tool over here on the top, or a polyline tool, or this curve tool. So curve tool wise, you use it, you can press it, and it formulates a line. Press enter, then it makes a line. And open a new layer. Use line tool. Draw a line. Press shift so that it is in parallel to the ground. Press T to move it around. And now, if we hide this, then we got this half line over here. So overall, what you do is that you do a X on the square and then make a line in the middle. That's half. Simple, isn't it? And going on to the 1/3 of this, the 1/3 of this, the way you do it is There you go. Move it here. What you do is so 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Is that you can use now this one randomly. It's okay. Pick one. Polyline is where you tap it. So you tap it. Make multiple lines. There you go. And we'll make a straight line again. That's half right. And now this is the difficult part. Try to bear with me, okay? Follow me along. So I'll just find a random new color. What we'll do is that we'll connect one of the side. If I pick this side, then I'll do another side over here. I'll use this line over here. Put it here. And then if I take this line, that means I'm gonna take this line as a reference. And you can see over here there's a cross section here and here. If you draw a straight line again, there you go. Then over here we will get 1/3 of this. This is how we find 1/3 of the square. And finally, another thing that we should learn about is how to duplicate a square on the side. So what we'll do is that we're gonna extend this line. And if you want to move this line around with line tool, you can press Alt so that you can start moving it around. There you go, like that. There you go. And there you go. There you go. And what we'll do is that we're gonna connect this part to this part and then extend it out to somewhere here. So that. So then if I draw a line from here downwards, then that's a equal distance over here. The one. So you have made a duplicated box on the side, and that's how you do it. So you might be thinking like why are we learning maths? Why are we learning this kind of random calculations on drawing? And I'll show you now. Don't worry, we'll talk about it later. But first of all, in terms of the practice-wise, what we'll do is that first of all, we'll formulate a 45 degrees angle plane. And what we do is that we draw something like this. So let's say we roughly treat a horizon line over here. The vanishing point on both sides is equal distance because it's 45 degrees angle. And we just imagine it being here and here. So here wise. If you make what's it called? Hold on. And that roughly. If you make the what's it called? If our horizon line is still here, if you want to draw lower below this plane so that the downward angle is even more, then you increase this the length of this part. So then it will be something like this. Then it feels like this plane is lower than that plane. If you want to push the plane upwards a little bit more, so that it's roughly around our horizon line, then reduce this plane, the length of this plane. So that'll be like that. Whichever you want. It doesn't really matter that much, to be fair. Yeah. See, you can feel like the plane is being pushed upwards closer to our horizon lines. So we'll remove this, remove that. And when it comes to drawing this, like this, there's an important step before actually drawing it, is to roughly set a proportion for this backpack. So we could, let's say this one is 1, then this one is roughly 2. How much do you think this part is? Probably 2 over here. We'll say 1. So overall it's 3 over here. And then this part is roughly 1/4 over here. Roughly. Then okay, that should be good enough. So that's our rough proportion of this backpack. So we know that this is 1, this is 2, and then we'll try to draw it out. So like that. So in terms of the height, I still haven't found a way to draw it accurately according to the proportions. So according to the proportions, this is 1. How am I supposed to draw a 3 over here? But from the way I see Kranz doing this practice, is that he does a lot of calculations in this practice, but personally, I think that'll be too much time on that. I don't think that'll be very beneficial in long term. So probably just roughly guess it, and that's what I'm gonna do, okay? And make sure that the lines is gonna roughly seems like they are connected to this vanishing point that we set. So like that. And then okay, so that's 1. Here comes the part where we need to learn. We can use the thing that we mentioned just now. So first of all, let me erase this part. What or not? So roughly, okay, just roughly, this line is gonna converge in the place where I set it. Try, okay. It doesn't look like it, but when practicing yourself, make sure that it looks like it. My shitty demonstration is probably confusing you now, but make sure, okay, make sure, try your best. So now we're gonna use this concept over here. First of all, we learned that how to find the half of this, the half. So to find half, let's use a new one. Roughly, okay, just roughly. So x over here, x over there. And then when this line is try to connect it to the vanishing point over here. Now we got 1 here, 1 here, right? This 2 over here. So to find the part above, then remember how we do it. So try like this. So in terms of the z axis, technically it is a 3-point perspective, but then if we set the horizon line of the z axis to far away, infinite far away, then the lines looks like they are parallel to each other. So you don't need to draw the converging feeling over here in this practice. So that's why they look like they are parallel, but technically they are not. So now we want to formulate a same level of a square over here. So remember how we do it. We extend this line, extend that line, and then connect either this line to here or this line to here. So it doesn't really matter that much. I know it's messy, but it's okay. later on, we will clean it up as well as using perspective tools to make sure that it is well structured to the perspective. So roughly like here, roughly, okay. And make sure that this line again connects with the vanishing point over here. So you can see now when drawing the structures, you're always thinking about whether this line is connected to the vanishing point as well as the proportions. And alongside with it, you're trying to draw a straight line. So that's why this practice is hard, but also trains your thinking process about perspectives while you're drawing. So you can see this is one. So we got 3 already. Let's merge all these layers together like that. You see opacity a little bit, and we could clean it up. There you go. To clean up. Another way to clean it up is you could use like this. So a opacity brush, make it bigger, and then press E so that it has become a eraser, and you can briefly reduce the opacity of the lines that you draw. That also works as well. And then quickly go through it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Now we got 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. And then to find this 1/4, again, half of this, so that's half. Here, that's half. And then try to do this again. That's 1/4. So as a result, we can see that this is point A is roughly here. Here. And then point B. Yep. B, yeah. And then you connect it together. Cut it. I'm not drawing it really good enough, but hopefully you get what I mean by that. So here we go. Found this already. So that's we have drawn a backpack-ish. And if you want to draw this part, then you can see that it's roughly here. Draw a circle here, here, here. Now it's just more of personal estimations, like that, roughly like that. Don't penalize you for anything. There you go, like that. Roughly like this. Fine. That's that. It's a bit too much. So reduce the opacity and adjust it a little bit, probably half of it. There you go, here you go. Fine. There you go, here you go. Fine, good enough. Good. But of course, when you're doing the practice yourself, and when I'm doing my own practice, I'll make sure that it's more accurate than this. And this is the perspective training I'll do more as well. And now, so we mentioned about how we use this part as well as how to draw another square over here. And if the structure that you found is, let's say this is 1/3, this is 1/3 of this. If that's how you estimate it, you also know how to make this as well. Then we could also do a cheeky method like this. So let's find this. There you go. Here, right? I'll just copy and paste so that I get another one, another box. What you can do is that you can make it into a sticker. So what I mean is that you press Control T so that it becomes like this. Go to two options, and then over here there's a perspective. Hey, so you can bring it here, and then now you can stick it. There you go. Then you don't need to draw any what's it called? Those are squeaky lines over here to make the whole illustration very messy. You can use this, and then now you got 1/3 of it. And this method also applies to different kinds of patterns when you want to draw a clothes or an armor. Let's bring this out again. Hold on. There you go. So let's say I got I don't know, a heart like that, as well as a like that. These kind of patterns to be drawn on my backpack. Yeah, like that. Yeah, fine. Something like this. Hopefully you get what I mean. Those kind of patterns, and you can use perspective tools. So get it here, and then stick it on to it. There you go. Ta-da! You don't have to draw it yourself. You don't have to, for example, like how did I draw it? Like this, like that, and then oh my god, that this is leaning towards the left side a little bit. I can't make it to the center. Then with this method, you could just stick it onto it. You can also copy and paste it as well. So this is the powerful technique using the Krita computer power. Okay. So before we finish, there's still one more thing that we need to learn about today. Oh, we got so many things to learn about today. Okay. So we got this perspective tools over here. This is called assistant tool in Krita. And over here you can see there's a 2-point perspective, there's a vanishing point, like a vanishing point for 1-point perspective, like densities. If you increase the density, then you can see that there's more lines, or increase the density, then there's less. But that's not what we need today. We need perspective tools 2-point. So what we'll do is that we'll tap 1 point over here. So if you press shift, then it will make the horizon line parallel to the plane, and then roughly like that. Now you can move it around, and you can still continue to press shift so that the horizon line doesn't move. And then now you can see that the drawing that I made doesn't really follow the perspective at all. It's completely off, to be fair. Oh no, but that's okay. I mean, that's what we'll try to do now. So now is that after drawing this, right? After drawing this, try to find the perspective that is roughly, okay, just roughly fits the drawing that you made, and then we're gonna draw it again with higher accuracy. So roughly here. There we go. It's that line. Yeah. Roughly, okay, just roughly like this. Alright, so let me connect all this together. Reduce the perspective, reduce that, and reduce that. There we go. Good. So what we'll do is that we'll pick up our line tool over here, And over here on the tool option, you can see that it's snap to assistant. The snap to assistant is like this. So you can see the powerful part about this line tool is that we can draw the structure that we made with high accuracy into perspectives. And if you feel like the perspective tool is in a way you can reduce the opacity. To ensure that it doesn't move away, you can press this lock tool so that it doesn't move. And go on to line tool again. What we'll do is I will draw it out roughly. Okay, just roughly. Good enough. It's good enough. There you go. Somewhere here. There you go. There you go. Oof. Yeah. Actually, my own hand drawing perspective is really off. It's not easy. It's not easy, okay? So, oh my god, it's completely off. You can see that this is off, completely off. But yeah. Oh, here. Here's the problem. Here. So try to draw the structure with, after you finish your own hand drawing perspective, make a more accurate one with the assistance of perspective tools. Make sure that all the lines are connected. If they are not connected, then you can see that sometimes they don't fit when drawing over here. You can see that I was waiting for this line to connect to over here, but it doesn't. So these kind of problems can happen when certain parts of the lines doesn't connect to each other, and then this part is off, which leads to that part is off, and then which makes the whole illustration off. Okay, so that's the practice I will do. If you want to find more this kind of reference, I'll put the link in the description, and it will take you probably to here, which is like a perspective file-ish in Pinterest. And when you can, if you press this, there'll be even more of that. Find the one that is still manageable, okay? Certain ones are extremely difficult, and there'll be too much to do. Alright, so that's everything I want to talk about today. Overall, to one this kind of practice a day for perspective, to color capture, the color illustration captures, as well as the object form captures, like this. If you got any questions or concerns, feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you in the next week's practice. Bye!